Have you ever felt that kind of loneliness that eats you from the inside? When no one understands you, no one listens, and you start escaping into a world that doesn't exist? That was Zainab. A girl who didn't go outside much, didn't talk much. But her mind was full of stories. Stories from romantic novels that whispered lies disguised as love. He thought it was harmless. Just words on a page, right? But she didn't know. Those pages were slowly pulling her away. Away from reality, away from Allah, away from her peace. Because that's what loneliness does. When you don't fill it with Allah, it fills itself with anything that promises comfort. Pause. Think about that. Zainab was quiet. Her world was small. Her room, her phone, and her imagination. Every night, she'd scroll through stories filled with forbidden love, perfect men, and dramatic endings. She told herself, I know it's fiction. It won't affect me. But slowly it did. Her heart began to crave the fantasy. She started comparing her life, her family, her friends, to those imaginary characters. Why wasn't her life exciting? Why didn't she have someone who looked at her like that? Every story she read made her real world feel dull, meaningless. And that's how Shaytan works. He decorates the lie until you forget what's real. Zainab didn't realize it yet, but her heart was being trained to desire Haram love. It started small, a few harmless chats online. Just friends, she told herself. But behind every just friend was an unspoken desire, the kind those novels had planted deep inside. She found herself waiting for messages, for attention, for validation. And when it came, she smiled. For a moment she felt seen. But when the screen went dark, the emptiness returned, heavier than before. That's the trap. False love feels like warmth at first, but it always leaves you colder in the end. Allah says in the Quran, and do not follow the footsteps of Shaytan. Indeed, he is to you a clear enemy. Surah Al-Baqarah 2:168. Zainab didn't fall in one step. She followed footsteps, small, innocent-looking ones, until she couldn't find her way back. Days turned into nights. Reality blurred with fiction. She began losing interest in prayer, in family, in everything pure. Because in her heart she was chasing a feeling that didn't exist in real life. She'd look at her reflection and whisper, I'm not enough. I'll never be loved like those girls. What she didn't realize was, those girls weren't real. Their love wasn't real. But her pain was. Pause. Imagine her sitting alone, tears in her eyes, holding her phone like it's her only friend. This is what Haram entertainment does. It doesn't just steal your time, it rewires your heart. It teaches you to seek love in ways that displease the one who created love itself. Zainab's heart was no longer content with reality. It was addicted to illusion. An addiction to fantasy is one of the most dangerous poisons of the soul. One night, after hours of scrolling, she stumbled upon a short video. A reminder. A soft voice said, you keep searching for love, but you forget that the one who loves you most is waiting for you to return to him. Something broke inside her. She cried. For the first time in months, she cried for real. Not for a character, not for a story, but for herself. She remembered her salah, how long it had been. She remembered her Quran, still lying where she left it. And she whispered, Ya Allah, I'm lost. I filled my loneliness with lies. Please bring me back. That was her moment of awakening. Because even when you run far, Allah never closes the door. He waits. Patiently. Lovingly. Healing wasn't easy. Every time she tried to stop reading, her mind craved the stories again. That's what sin does. It leaves scars that whisper temptations. But this time she fought. She started replacing those hours with dhikr. Instead of romantic novels, she read stories of real women from Islamic history, strong, faithful, and dignified. Instead of chasing fictional heroes, she began to admire the mercy of the Prophet. There were relapses, tears, moments when she almost gave up. But each time she fell, she remembered that crying in sujud was better than crying for someone who didn't exist. She learned that the cure for loneliness isn't found in love stories. It's found in connection with Allah. Loneliness is not a sin, but what you do with it can be. When your heart is empty, it becomes a battlefield. Either you fill it with remembrance, or Shaytan fills it with deception. Zainab's story isn't just hers. It's the story of countless souls today. Girls and boys scrolling late at night searching for love in the wrong places. Romantic dramas, fanfictions, novels, they make sin look beautiful and obedience look boring. But remember this: the same heart that feels empty now can become a garden of peace if you water it with Quran, Salah, and sincere dua. Love isn't wrong, but haram love destroys you before it begins. And no fantasy can compete with the real love that Allah places between two hearts when it's pure, lawful, and blessed. Pause. Think about that. Zainab learned that the truest form of love isn't found in words or stories. It's found in sujud, when tears fall and hearts heal. She deleted the novels, blocked the chats, and filled her silence with Quran. And slowly, the emptiness faded. She didn't find a man, she found peace. Because when you love Allah first, everything else falls into place. So if you're lonely tonight, if your heart aches for love, for attention, for comfort, don't run to fantasy. Run to your Lord. He knows every tear you've shed. He knows every word you never said. And He promises, indeed, in the remembrance of Allah do hearts find rest. Surah Al-Raid 13:28. Close that novel. Turn off that screen. Open the Quran. Speak to the one who never ignores you. Because the sin of loneliness ends when you stop filling your emptiness with lies and start filling it with Allah. Pause. Let that sink in.